Going live, going live. It's a beautiful night. Hi, Elaine Marolakos Edelson here with Astrology Mojo and Transformational Astrology. I want to help you get your mojo back. So here we are once again. We're going to be talking about the Jupiter in retrograde and how it is going to become your opportunity to finally resolve that issue, finally get the thing that you want. So, as I like to say to people, if you're not familiar with me, when the planets make a move, because the planets don't do anything to you in astrology, so when the planets make a move, you feel it. When you make a move, it's reflected in the heavens. And I left my watch in the living room, but astrology basically tells you what time it is. That's it. What you do with your time is up to you. Your awareness in the present moment and your karma. So, what would you like to do this week with your information, with your karma, with your awareness? And, Mercury is going direct on the 28th. Hi, Kate. And, when Mercury goes direct, when a planet is retrograde, it doesn't mean that anything other than it is our perception from the point of view of the Earth that it looks like it's moving backwards. And when all planets go retrograde, and of course the sun and moon are not planets, so they don't go retrograde. If they did, we'd be in big trouble. Tsunamis, earthquakes, oh my gosh, drought, freezing temperatures. But when a planet goes retrograde, from our position on Earth, the planet looks like it's moving backwards. What that represents for us is it's time for us to take a step back. That's what retrograde means. It means to step back and to go inward and see what the thing is that you need to pay attention to heal, to adjust, to renegotiate with, to review, and or release. And the same holds true for every planet that goes retrograde. Now, because each planet represents something different in astrology as it relates to your life. Oh. Oh, wow. So my husband is telling me that I'm frozen. So Kate, if you can see me, let me know. Am I moving? Can you see me? Can you hear me? That's all I need to know. Anybody who's listening, is anybody out there? Just let me know. If I've frozen, I have to start over. So just let me know if you can hear me, see me. Yay? Nay? Oh. Bonnie says not frozen. Kate says yes, I'm here. So it's, yeah. So I guess it's my husband's problem. My daughter would say that's a you problem. Right, Dean? So he's having issues. Okay, and this is what I wanted. This is my segue. Thank you for letting me know. Thank you. Tommy, can you hear me? I remember I was 16 years old and I went to the movies with my friends and we went to see Tommy. Now, I didn't like The Who then. I don't care for their music now. And so I left the theater. Halfway through, I was like, yeah, I don't get it. But for some people who love The Who, fantastic. I'm happy for you. All right, so we're going to be talking about Jupiter, but before we do that, I want to tell you about what happens when Mercury comes out of retrograde. It's happening now. The perception is changing. There's a blip on the radar. There's a chink in the armor. There's a ghost in the machine. There's tech issues in my husband's office, and there's going to be more of that in the days ahead. So even though this is a specific date and time, a lot of this information is evergreen in that it applies to all retrogrades and throughout time. And today being the 26th, the Mercury goes direct exactly on the 28th, but also on the, I would say today through the 30th, there's going to be some hinky business. It's going to feel like something just shuttered, in your life. you just got woken up, or your technology is going a little haywire, or things don't work well, or you get frustrated for no reason. So this inner part that has been exploring in this Pisces Mercury retrograde, the dream, the illusion, the addiction, the vacation, getting lost in something so you could take a break, but then life not letting you do that for some people. When we go direct, it'll be at 9:59 a.m. Pacific time and Arizona time, Mercury direct. But so during this next couple of day, I would say juncture, if you're looking to upgrade your phone, your any of your technology, no, don't. If your computer says, oh, now's a good time to download new apps or to upgrade your operating system, no. I would wait until the first week of April. In fact, the 2nd, the 4th of April, the morning of the 5th, the 7th of April, even better. And once we come out of the Mercury retrograde, which suddenly seems like a jolt to our reality, what's going to happen then is it's overlapping the Jupiter in retrograde. Now, what's that going to be about? Jupiter represents the part of you that is expansive. It's opportunity, it's generosity, it's indulgence. Watch out for too much. And it also relates to where the retrograde itself relates to where that chink is in the armor, in the chain, where the gap is, where the crack is in the foundation, and why you can't seem to get ahead. What's the thing? You work, you strive, you're doing. What's happening? It's not happening. So, and it's not the planet that's doing it to you, but what happens is Jupiter is like a big, wait a minute, we have props. I think, if I can find my prop. No, I can't. Okay. I had a magnifying glass. But anyway, Jupiter's like a big magnifying glass. That's what it represents in your life. And so some people will say, oh, it's always great. It's always wonderful energy. Well, it depends on your life and what you're doing with your energy, right? It's not the planet that's telling you it's wonderful. You could have Jupiter going through your 6th house and suddenly you're gaining weight. And as you eat that 10th Oreo cookie, you're like, I don't know, I work out at the gym. I don't get it. Right? Or you're dieting all the time and nothing's happening. Okay, well, that's what we're going to talk about today. And also, I have formulated a new type of reading to give to you, and it's an all-out retrospective. I will be looking at the year 1995 in a 12-month radius. Is that a thing? And then the year 2007, and then now, and then the 12 years from now. So we're going to look at the one issue, there could be several issues, but the one area of your life that you keep sabotaging yourself and why it's not moving forward. And in that reading, it's an hour reading. You can click on the blue Book Now button. But in that reading, it's also a retrospective of your development, the things that you put on hold that you really want to be doing, but yet you don't because of the thing we're going to look at. Where do you self-sabotage? Where are you thinking it's not enough? Because Jupiter is the planet that represents enough. It's big. It's everything. It's all that you could imagine and more. And yet you're the one who might be looking at people achieving, arriving, seeing results, and you're not. So that's where I'm going to go in this reading. So it's a big one. And there's also a 30-day follow-up to help you get back on track, to help you stay on course, and to calibrate that compass, which is perfect to do in any retrograde, especially Jupiter retrograde, because when we look at where the crack is in the foundation, why you can't get beyond that thing, it's very profound. It's very spiritual. It's very healing. And at the same time, suddenly it's the nudge out of the nest so you spread your wings. It's that fearlessness of hope and knowing and trusting that my universe has my back. And like Einstein said, I choose to believe in a universe that is benevolent. And that's what Jupiter represents, benevolence. So in being really honest about what stops you and how you can reach that goal, Jupiter is always retrograde for about 4 months. Now, because Jupiter is now currently in the sign of Sagittarius, which is a natural placement, because Jupiter guides the sign of Sagittarius. So it doesn't matter if you are a Sagittarius sun, rising, or moon, or not. What matters is where Jupiter is in your chart and where it's been 12 years ago, 24 years ago, and the next 12 years, and what the cycle looks like. What's the string? The jazz musician Chick Corea once said, "I am the red thread between nothingness and eternity." And for me, that's Jupiter. Because Jupiter, as it represents abundance and expansion and generosity and benevolence, it also deals with publishing and health, science, discoveries, healing, travel, foreign affairs, and the contracts that you make in life, whether they are emotional contracts, when you make a vow to a person, like when I said to my mother, who said, "I will never go into a nursing home, so don't even know." And I said, okay, I make a vow. In order to heal my relationship with my mother and to show absolute compassion toward her, I vowed to see her off the planet. And I did. And I was there holding her hand as she left and departed. And then I heard from her an hour later. And she told me how beautiful things were and how shocked she was because of it. It's a beautiful thing to understand the core of something. You know, people get readings and they want to know more topical stuff. You know, oh, is my daughter going to have kids? And there's no right, wrong, or judgment on any of this. But I want you to look at something. Is this going to happen or is that going to happen? What I see and what proficient readers see is what you are creating. So if you want something to happen, it's up to you. Maybe the timing is not right, and there's other things that precede your goal. You know, there are steps to doing things. So that's what I look at. I have a new friend in town. She's also a reader. Sedona is filled with them. And so I like to meet them and get to know some new people. And she's a very lovely woman, and she is making her transition from working in an office space as a reader to doing work in her home. And when she said that, we were having tea, and when she said that, I said, I got chills. So that's a validation. That's a confirmation. And even people who know what to do sometimes have difficulty doing it. And that's where support comes in. Right? Friends can give you support. Absolutely. Mentors give you support. But when you're ready to make that decision to move forward in life and really do what you came here to do and have what you can have, which is just about anything, it's altering the mindset. That's what I like to work on in my own life, with my family, with friends, with clients. And that's what I'd like to see you do. And you might say, oh, there's an art fair and I want to paint a picture, but I used to paint and now I'm afraid. And it doesn't matter what the goal is. Like when you're buying something, it doesn't matter what the widget is. It matters the value you place on it and how it makes you feel. What's the joy that you get from this thing? And I'm not talking topical joy, like you have a glass of wine at the end of a hard week and, you have great chips and dip. I'm talking about one of the reasons why you've come to this earth, which was to experience expansion. Now, my husband said to me, you say that word a lot. What do you really mean by that? Because he is a more practical person, very open, very spiritual. Thank you, Dean. But he is very practical. And so when I said expansion means, what do you want? Where's your focus? How would you like to get that thing? The how comes from the universe, strategies, experts, and mentors who have been there, done that, right? But the thing itself and how it makes you feel is where you erase the borders between having and not having. I'm sorry, let's reverse that. Between not having and having. Wouldn't you like to have more of something? Let me know in the comment section. Who's here? Come say hello to me. Hi, I'm going to have a sip and pull a happy card for folks. I was just also researching how to get a more expansive background instead of my blue wall. And so that's coming up too. So there are changes coming up. Because without transformation, what is it? It's the same old, right? Okay, so Bonnie's here. Kate's here. Hi, Diana. Christine, hi. And I'm going to pull a happy card for people who are ready to expand into their biggest opportunity, into the thing that's been stopping them, so that they can heal that, fill the gap, move forward, open that door. What's the fear? Hi, Leanna. 3 a.m. in Australia. I'm honored. Either that or you have insomnia. Chamomile tea, sweetie. But that I can fill the time for you. Rhonda's here. Rach is here. Hi. Oh, gratitude. Well, that is the epitome of Jupiter. It is the gratitude attitude. It is the whole expansion of your belief system. I had a client once, and I remember Jupiter was transiting her 9th house in astrology, and I said to her, it's all about your philosophy. And she said, what does that mean? And I said, the beliefs that you have. And she said, the beliefs that I have about what? And I said, about everything. Well, and she comes from a different cultural background. And I said, how you were raised plays, a lot into what's happening for you. And to expand your mind and move beyond the limits that you think you have. Now, some people would say, oh, that's a Saturn department. But Jupiter looks at the boundary and says, Jupiter is the biggest planet in our solar system, once deemed the king of the universe. And what it represents is not your largeness, it also represents the part of you that wants to connect spirit to this bodily reality. What do you want to do with that? I mean, in earthly terms, you're more than just a person hanging out, doing laundry, washing dishes, working, making money, having fun, not having fun, being sad, being open, being expressive. You are a combination of every spiritual concept that ever was. You had many lifetimes, you've had many experiences, and the thread on that experience makes you, makes you an individual. And Jupiter celebrates that individuality and says, how do you want to expand? How do you want to become more of you without the sabotage? By trusting that your intuition is going to help you just as much as your intellectual thought, right? So let me just look at some of the comments here. So Rach says, wish me luck. I'm waiting to get an interview for a job. Okay. I wonder if Jupiter is in your 10th or 6th, 10th or 11th house. So the expansion comes with hard work. Yes, sometimes it takes a little bit of, got to push the door open. And then sometimes people start to push that door open to get what they want, and they get tired or they get feeling rejected or dejected. You know how many authors in this world who are famous authors, I can't even count them, who were rejected one after the next by editors and publishers, and they just persisted, and wherever Jupiter shows up in your chart is where you will see the truth behind your sabotage, the truth behind the veil. What is the truth behind it? Now, every person is born with Jupiter in their chart. And, oh, by the way, this is what Jupiter looks like. If you're not familiar with Jupiter, looks like the number 4. And it's a huge planet, right? And the Jupiter-Earth connection, look at this. I mean, the spot on Jupiter, we could be swallowed whole. Our planet could be swallowed whole by Jupiter. That's how big it is and what it represents. So let me just get rid of that, okay? Now, what's interesting, too, about this time between April 10th and August 11th is when Jupiter will be retrograde in the sign of Sagittarius. And it's a natural placement. And as it goes in, you may not see profound rock sliding, shoulder shaking, sudden things, but it will just dawn on you. Oh, that's why. Oh, my gosh. That's why it's happening. Or someone says something to you, or you have a reading. I gave myself a treat to have a reading the other day, just for validation. And it was very validating. And I thought, oh yeah, I almost forgot about that. This heaviness that sometimes I feel. And my mission in life. And you have it too. You have a mission. When you're born with Jupiter, wherever Jupiter is in your chart, it looks at where the greatest opportunity is for you, what you've come to express, your greatest gift to the world. And then when Jupiter transits around your chart, especially during a Jupiter Sagittarius retrograde, April 10th through August 11th, 2019, what that shows you is where things are stopped up, where you are looking that way and the truth is that way. And so it's just a matter of, adjusting focus. Does that make sense? Hey, Jennifer's here. Oh, you're not ignorant. Leanna wants to know what retrograde means. Okay, so retrograde is Latin and it means to step back. That's what it means. So every planet in our solar system moves into retrograde motion at different times during the year. And some planets for longer than others. And when that happens, our position from the Earth, just imagine, you can see 2 airplanes in the sky, okay? And and they're both going at the same speed. They're traveling at the same speed, but one airplane, because it's closer to the Earth, looks like it's going faster than the other one. So our perception from Earth is that the plane that's further out or the planet that's further back is moving slower or backwards. It might look like it's moving backwards. And so retrograde represents your time to go within and discover something about what stops you, why you have this relationship issue over and over and over again. You keep attracting the same person, why you have this health issue. You can't seem to get beyond it. Is it DNA? Is it your timing? Is it karmic? Is it your diet? Is it a combination? Is it your environment? Why you have a love for something, a passion for something, and yet convince yourself, yeah, I can't make money being a writer, an author, a singer, a dancer, a spokesperson. Yeah, I can't be an astronaut. That's like a pipe dream. Yeah. So when we go into a retrograde phase, we're just coming out of a Mercury in retrograde where our thoughts went inward. Any retrograde is great for healing because that's when you bypass your thoughts and your resistance. You want to look at where you resist your joy. What's your joy? Tell me in the comment box, what's your joy and what do you resist? Hi, Jennifer says she's here. Well, I'm so happy. I'm here and you're there. And we're here together. Okay, so does that make sense? To please understand that you have the power and the might and the will to expand your life into an area that gives you absolute joy. But sometimes when you can't get there and you don't, it's like you see through the glass, you see where you want to go, but you can't get there. Where's the door? How do you make it happen? Well, first, it's about your belief system. Always. It's about your neurons that you tell yourself, oh yeah, it's the not enoughs. Jupiter represents enough, more than enough, exuberantly more than enough. That's not even a proper sentence, but you know what I'm saying. And the indulgence on the negative side of Jupiter is, oh yeah, one more cookie, one more bottle of wine, one more lover, one more vacation day, one more thing, that puts you in a place of self-sabotage. So it is a fine line, but the beneficial aspects always come down to, in astrology, that what the planet represents and your timing. So when we see the two come together and I see, oh, Jupiter in one of my clients' charts has Jupiter transiting her third house, which in astrology, which represents communication. And before you open your mouth and start talking, communication is inner. What are these beliefs that you have that stop you from being more of who you want to be and why you came to this earth? It's not over when you leave, people, right? You know that. It wasn't over before you got here. It has been going on and on and on in your own expansive spiral of awareness. On that spiral of awareness, you may change clothes, attitudes, bodies, genders, locations, nationalities, religion, but you're still, at the core of it, you're still you. And that you is an extension of the light. And you exist here, now. What do you want to do with it? That's the question. I'm going to take a drink because it's getting a little dry in here. Oh, Jennifer says I crack her up. I'm not sure what I resist. I'm trying to get my family back together and it's not working. Okay, well, it could be that if you're trying to do something, it's not your job. Or that if you come from a place of desperation, then the energy you put on the whole scenario will fall apart and crumble. And so you have to always look at your motives when you're doing something in the world. What's your motivation? What's your why? Jupiter would ask you, why? What's your big why? Saturn shows you the how. Don't worry. Saturn is big on worry. If you start to worry, it means you don't trust. If you don't trust, it means you think you're separate. And if you think you're separate, then you think that it's all on you. And that's the burden of life. That's a Saturn strategy on the negative. Jupiter, on the other hand, is if something isn't working, you need to ask for help. You need to educate yourself, empower yourself, enlighten yourself to what's possible and how by asking other people with positive points of view who have already experienced it and seen results and success, okay? So if you're struggling financially, do not ask your friends who are struggling financially for financial advice. Make sense? If you're trying to get something done and it's not working, maybe it's not the right time, maybe it's not your job. Maybe it's not about you orchestrating others. Maybe it's about you accepting the moment. And that deals for, that's information for a lot of people. Hi, is it Michelle? Michelle or Michelle? I don't know. That's a pretty name. Okay, so is this making sense? The blue Book Now button gets you time with me, and that time is going to be well spent looking at 1995, looking at 2007, looking at the thread of your conscious and unconscious self and the things that you are creating and how we can recalibrate that during this Jupiter in retrograde and open you up to the opportunity of expansion, of getting what you want, finally, without the struggle. So here's the question. Jupiter represents the search for largeness, for opportunity. What if the search were over? What if you found what you were looking for? Oh, I said this to a client of mine who had Jupiter transiting 7th house of first, marital relationship, second, big business clients, and also business partners. And I said, and the complaint was, oh, I'm always doing everything. I always have to pursue. You know, he doesn't do, I always have to bring it up. And I said, well, let's turn it around during this retrograde. What would happen if you actually stopped pursuing and he turned around and pursued you? How would that feel? And she held her breath and she said, oh my gosh, I never thought of it that way and it doesn't feel good. And I went, isn't that interesting? The energy we put out based on our thoughts, sometimes those are conscious thoughts, sometimes they're not. And the unconscious part of you is also wreaking havoc or bringing you beautiful things. So you've got a lot going on in here. You're a lot. Somebody said that to me once a long time ago. Elaine, you're a lot. I was like, good. Because, I wouldn't want to be not a lot. Then I would be not enough. No. Whoa is me. Make sense? Okay, folks. With Jupiter going retrograde, this is going to be profound in such a subtle way because it doesn't come in with a ton of bricks and hit you in the head like a Uranus retrograde going direct would be, or a Mars retrograde. Uranus represents rebellion and a sudden, right turns, and Mars is action and aggression and also assertiveness. So when different planets go retrograde, they represent different energies. And again, the retrograde represents going within. So imagine if you can turn around. There used to be an emotive therapy called smiling down. And you could close your eyes and imagine turning your face around and looking down into your body and smiling at all of your organs, your cells, your muscles, your tendons, your tissue, your blood flow, everything. And imagine with a Jupiter retrograde that you look at the world and you go, man, that's big. I don't know how I would get there. How do I get to Europe? If I don't have the cash or if I don't have the time, or how do I get on stage? What are the steps? So everything looks big on the outside, but in a retrograde, Jupiter retrograde, it's about turning around and looking in and actually seeing the entire universe. Talk about big. See? And to be able to see the universe from the inside of you, then where are the boundaries? Where are the limitations? Where's the stopgap? Where is the no, you can't do this? It's all in your head. That's where it is. And it's in cellular memory. So when you made a vow 10,000 years ago, 100 years ago, 2 weeks ago, oh, that's okay. You go first. That's all right. I can go without so that you can have. On some level, that registers as a way of life. And then it becomes the norm. And then you go without, you go without, you go without. And then you suffer because of it. And then you become aware of it. And then you start suffering over your suffering. Okay, let's put a nice deep breath, everybody. What's the one thing you would like to expand on within yourself to make that connection to your divine center? I'm not talking God, goddess. I'm not talking a religion, although some parts of Jupiter would represent religion, but also spirituality, also philosophy, also travel, foreign affairs, cultural, expanding your mind. If you've never left your hometown and all you ever ate were hot dogs and sauerkraut, and then one day you went to France, like that. It's like, what? My mind is blown. You have cream sauces? What? There's some stuff you can watch on Netflix that's really entertaining. One is, somebody help me out. Dean, salt, heat, something. It's about a chef who travels to different places and experiences the cuisine of the area. Also, Conan. Conan, if you like Conan. He travels to different countries, Mexico, Korea, I forget the other two. It's hysterical. And he becomes the ambassador to these places. Experiences the food, the local cuisine, the people, the political climate. It's very funny. So this is what I'm talking about. It's, if you were raised in poverty and one day somebody, you meet someone through someone and you all go out to dinner and this person is a millionaire and they say, oh no, it's on me. And you look at the menu and you go, oh my God, $23 for a salad. I can't order that. That's too much. Or maybe you grew up with a lot of money. And then one day you decide to do something generous and you, instead of just donating with a check, you go out and you want to help people and you see what poverty looks like and how uncomfortable you get and how hard it is to breathe. And you want to run home and take a shower and go, oh my gosh, thank my stars, thank my lucky stars that that's not me. Right? I mean, when you start to expand your awareness, think about this. Everybody who's in this thread right now has enough money to eat for the next week, right? There's majority of the world does not. So what are you going to do with that luxury? Yeah, it is a luxury. Now, it takes you down a notch if you're someone who complains. And it also can open your heart and say, oh, I want to contribute somehow. I want to give back. And it doesn't always have to be about money. You can volunteer, donate your time, donate your clothes, your stuff. This is a Jupiter energy. Where are you thinking it's just one thing and I can't get something, and you're focused on the thing you can't have, when if you looked up, everything exists around you. Water for free that's clean. Energy. Solar heating. Power. Heat. Air conditioning. Food. Think about it. The expansion comes in your mind, and you don't have to give anything up except your limitation. Who's ready? Who wants to give up their limitations? I do. Ooh, pick me. Okay? So the blue book now button is going to help you. Good afternoon, Roberta. Oh, Diana, thank you so much for enjoying this. Yes, Dean, it's called Salt, Fat, Acid, Heat. Dean's my producer, 30 feet away in his own office. I hope his tech issues aren't overtaking his day. Okay, so does anybody have a thing that they really want and they've been working on it, and it's just not the right timing, or it's just not, or people are telling you, no, this can't happen. Because somewhere deep in you, you've been telling yourself, yeah, it's never going to happen. What would that be for you? I'm going to pull one more card for the group and talk about, now typically I'd be back on Thursday, but because that's the day Mercury turns direct, no. I'm going to save myself a possible tech headache. I'll be back on Friday where we still could have that issue, but at least we're out of the big window of it. Now, this is going to relate to your expansion and how to help you get there. Let's all focus on the expansive universe that's already in your mind, in your heart, and in your body. Your body-mind-spirit connection opens the door, is the key, opens the door to anything you want without limitation. Oh, well, why not? Perfect. Harmony. When you have harmony with your body, mind, spirit, it is the door that opens and you release the past. And you would be so surprised at how much people want to hold on to poverty. Poverty consciousness. I don't have enough. It's not enough. It'll never be enough. And sometimes it's not even a conscious thing. It's just ingrained in your body and in your experiences. And it shows up in your health. It shows up with trying to make money. It shows up with relationships. It shows up everywhere. There are 9 karmic cues in life. So pick one, or a combination of any. Creativity, spirituality, you're going to find it. And so just like the young gal who is going on a job interview, or, cross fingers, we hope she gets it if that's what she really wants. Then the thing is to see that it's already happened. All right? See that you've already gotten the job. The handshake is a done deal. See it in your mind. Feel it in your body. And see the family coming together. not because of your actions. That would be you needing the recognition for it, you desiring to have it work. You can't orchestrate people. You can only orchestrate your own joy. Yeah, I know. We wish we could do otherwise, right? But, like Edna says in The Incredibles, no capes. We want to be superhuman. I don't know. What's your superpower? We'll talk about that on Friday. Your superpower with Jupiter going retrograde. We're going to talk about that on Friday. And I want you to tell me how wonderful you are at something and how uncomfortable it is for you to even say that. I'm great at reading people. That's my joy. That's what I love. I'm great at writing. I just am immersed in the words. What are you great at? We're going to talk about that on Friday. And good, if it makes you feel uncomfortable, we're going to push you out of the nest so you spread your wings and fly. And then get over that. Let's get over yourself. Okay? We'll do it together. Me and you. We'll be here together on Friday. Come back. I wish you peace. Be sparkly. Have a beautiful day. Have an expansive day. Blue button. I'll see you again.